When you grow old, 9 ways to help your elderly parent accept going into aged care. As we grow older, conversations about aging and care can become challenging but necessary. For adult children, discussing aged care options with their elderly parents often feels like navigating an emotional minefield. The thought of leaving a familiar home or losing independence can make aged care a difficult topic for parents to embrace. However, with patience, understanding, and the right approach, you can help your elderly parent see aged care as a positive step toward a safer, more fulfilling life. This guide is specifically tailored for American seniors aged 65 and older, offering insights and strategies to support families during this sensitive transition. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Start the conversation early. The decision to move into aged care is deeply personal, often entangled with fears, memories, and a sense of identity. For your elderly parent, it might feel like a sudden loss of control over their life. That's why starting the conversation early, before it becomes a necessity, is crucial. It's not just about logistics, it's about planting seeds of thought and allowing them time to process the idea. When you bring up the subject of aged care well ahead of time, you create a space where the discussion can unfold gradually, free from the pressure of immediate decisions. Think of this as a gentle invitation to plan together rather than an urgent demand to act. For instance, you might say, "Mom, I've been thinking about how we can make things easier and more comfortable for you as you get older. What are your thoughts on different options for the future?" This approach shifts the conversation away from fear and toward collaboration. It gives your parent the chance to share their hopes, concerns, and priorities, fostering a sense of partnership. You're not making decisions for them, you're navigating this journey with them. An early conversation also allows you to focus on the positives rather than the negatives. Instead of discussing aged care as a solution to health challenges or loneliness, frame it as an opportunity to enjoy a community lifestyle, explore new interests, or receive consistent care without the stress of managing it themselves. Over time, as they reflect on these ideas, their initial resistance may soften, and they'll be more open to considering aged care as a positive option. Patience is key. These conversations often need to happen in small, manageable moments rather than one lengthy discussion. Every time you listen, validate their feelings, and acknowledge their fears, you're building trust. Starting early ensures that when the time does come to make a decision, it feels like a natural progression rather than a forced compromise. 2. Emphasize their preferences and needs. For an elderly parent, the idea of moving into aged care is often accompanied by fears of losing their independence and being uprooted from a life they've carefully built. To ease these fears, it's essential to center the conversation on their needs, preferences, and the aspects of life that matter most to them. Begin by deeply understanding their unique perspective. Ask open-ended questions that show you value their input, such as, what does home mean to you? What kind of environment makes you feel happiest and most at ease? These conversations allow your parent to articulate what they value, whether it's the comfort of familiar surroundings, proximity to family, or access to a vibrant social community. By listening attentively, you can begin to frame aged care as a way to preserve and even enhance those priorities. For example, if your parent cherishes their independence, highlight options where they can maintain control over their daily routines, such as facilities with private apartments or flexible meal schedules. If they're worried about losing their hobbies, share how some communities offer creative programs, from gardening clubs to painting classes. Shifting the focus to how aged care can align with their preferences helps them see it not as a limitation, but as a supportive environment tailored to their lifestyle. It's also important to acknowledge their fears. Moving into aged care can feel like relinquishing control, but when you emphasize their role in choosing the right community, you restore their sense of agency. Include them in every decision, from reviewing brochures to visiting facilities, and seek their opinion at every step. This ensures they feel respected and heard, transforming the process into a collaborative effort rather than a directive. Above all, remind them that this transition is about enhancing their quality of life. It's not about what they'll leave behind, but about what they'll gain: safety, connection, and the freedom to focus on what they love most. By centering the conversation on their needs, you honor their dignity and show them that this journey is truly about their happiness. 3. Visit aged care communities together. For many seniors, the idea of moving into aged care feels daunting because it's shrouded in the unknown. Often, fears stem from outdated stereotypes of sterile, impersonal institutions that strip residents of their individuality. To ease these fears, take the time to visit aged care communities together, transforming an abstract concept into something tangible, relatable, and even welcoming. When you walk through the doors of a community together, you offer your parent the opportunity to see for themselves what life there could look like. They might hear the hum of laughter in a common room, see residents enjoying a game of cards, or notice a well-tended garden filled with flowers. These sensory experiences can challenge preconceived notions and open their mind to the possibilities. As you visit, focus on their reactions. Do they light up when they see the library or take interest in an art studio? Do they smile when a staff member warmly greets them? These moments can provide insights into what feels right for them. Encourage them to participate in a group activity or enjoy a meal in the dining room. It's these personal interactions that often leave the strongest impressions. Present each visit as an exploration, not a commitment. This distinction is crucial. Reassure them that the purpose is to gather information and see what options resonate, not to make a final decision. Your tone and approach can make the difference between curiosity and resistance. After each visit, give your parent the space to process their thoughts without pressure. Instead of immediately asking for their opinion, gently invite reflection. How did it feel to walk around there? Did anything stand out to you that you liked or didn't like? Visiting together also sends a powerful message. You're in this with them. By accompanying them, you demonstrate your commitment to finding a place that feels like home. It's no longer about convincing them to accept aged care. It's about exploring the possibilities together, side by side. In these visits, you're not just showing them a building or a set of amenities. You're showing them that aged care can be a place where they're seen, valued, and cared for. It becomes less about leaving behind a familiar home and more about stepping into a new chapter filled with opportunities for connection and growth. 4. Involve trusted voices in the discussion. The decision to transition into aged care is one that carries significant emotional weight, not just for your parent, but for the entire family. Often, despite your best efforts, your words alone may not fully resonate with your parent. They may view your concern through the lens of worry or obligation, making it harder for them to see the genuine care behind your suggestions. In these moments, trusted voices, whether from friends, family members, or professionals, can play a pivotal role in bridging the gap. Think about the people your parent respects and trusts most. Maybe it's a sibling who understands their values, or a lifelong friend who has already transitioned into aged care and can share their personal experience. Sometimes hearing, "I was hesitant at first too, but now I've made so many new friends," from a peer can have far greater impact than any explanation you could offer. These familiar voices often carry a credibility that feels comforting and reassuring. Similarly, involving other family members in the conversation can help alleviate the sense of being pushed by one person. A sibling might frame their concerns differently, or a grandchild might express their desire for their grandparent to be safe and happy, adding a layer of emotional connection. This approach shows that the move into aged care is not just about solving logistical challenges, it's about the family's shared desire for your parents' well being. In some cases, professional voices can offer the clarity needed to make the idea of aged care feel less personal and more practical. Doctors, for example, can emphasize how a community with medical staff nearby might enhance their quality of life. Social workers or geriatric care managers can provide insights into the benefits of aged care in a way that feels impartial yet supportive. These professionals can often diffuse emotional resistance by focusing on facts and safety. Involving trusted voices creates a circle of support around your parent, ensuring they feel cared for by a broader network of people who have their best interests at heart. It reinforces the message that this is not a solitary decision, but one grounded in love and collective understanding. 5. Highlight the benefits of aged care. For many seniors, the thought of moving into aged care is accompanied by a sense of loss, of independence, familiar surroundings, and even identity. To help counter these fears, it's essential to shift the focus toward the many benefits that aged care can offer. This isn't about convincing them to let go of their life as they know it. About showing them how this transition can open the door to a life of greater ease, safety, and connection. Start by addressing the aspects of their life that may feel challenging now. Perhaps they've expressed frustration with managing household chores, navigating stairs, or cooking meals. Gently highlight how aged care can provide solutions to these stressors. Imagine having all your meals prepared for you so you can spend more time enjoying the things you love. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to worry about fixing things around the house anymore? Beyond the practicalities, emphasize the opportunities for social connection and engagement. Loneliness is a reality for many older adults, even if they're reluctant to admit it. Aged care communities are designed to foster relationships and offer daily activities that create a sense of purpose and belonging, whether it's participating in a book club, learning a new craft, or simply sharing meals with others. These moments of connection can be transformative. Additionally, highlight the peace of mind that comes with having professional care available 24/7. For parents who are fiercely independent, this might feel like an admission of vulnerability. Reframe it as a source of empowerment. This way, you'll always have help if you need it, but you'll still be in control of your daily life. Finally, paint a picture of how this transition could enhance their well-being. A life free from the burdens of home maintenance, surrounded by opportunities for connection and care, is not a life of loss. It's a life of possibilities. By framing aged care as a chance to thrive rather than a compromise, you help your parents see the move in a new light. 6. Suggest a trial stay. The idea of permanently moving into aged care can feel overwhelming, especially when framed as a final, irreversible decision. To ease this anxiety, consider offering the option of a trial stay. This approach allows your parent to experience the reality of aged care firsthand without committing to a long-term arrangement. A trial stay can be presented as a temporary retreat, even a vacation from the responsibilities of daily life. You might frame it as an opportunity to enjoy a new environment, sample the amenities, and meet new people without the pressure of making a permanent choice. For example, why not try it for a couple of weeks? It'll give you a chance to see what it's like. And if it's not for you, that's okay too. During the trial period, encourage your parent to immerse themselves in the community. Suggest they join group activities, attend events, or simply relax in the common areas. These experiences can help them see aged care not as a sterile institution, but as a vibrant, welcoming environment. Often, the most significant shift in perspective comes when they start to enjoy the social connections and conveniences they didn't realize they were missing. It's important to reassure them that this trial is entirely their choice. They're not being forced into anything, and they have the freedom to leave if it doesn't feel right. This sense of control can make the idea of aged care feel less intimidating and more like an experiment in exploring new possibilities. Even if they don't immediately commit to a permanent move, the trial stay can plant seeds of familiarity and comfort. They'll leave with a clearer understanding of what aged care entails, which can make future discussions less daunting. Often, the experience helps seniors realize that aged care is not about giving up their independence, but about gaining a support system that allows them to live life on their terms. By suggesting a trial stay, you're offering your parent the chance to take small, confident steps toward embracing change. It's a compassionate way to honor their fears while helping them discover the potential for a happier, more supported life. 7. Respect their autonomy. For many older adults, the idea of moving into aged care can feel like a loss of independence, a cornerstone of their identity. They've spent a lifetime making decisions for themselves, building routines, and crafting lives defined by their choices. When discussing aged care, it's crucial to honor this deep-rooted need for autonomy. The way you approach the conversation can make the difference between fostering trust or creating resistance. Imagine how your parent might feel if the conversation begins with phrases like, "We've decided this is best for you," or "You have to move for your own good." Even if spoken with love, these words can sound like an ultimatum, stripping them of the control they cherish. Instead, shift the dynamic by making it clear that they are at the center of the decision-making process. Start by actively involving them in every aspect of the conversation. Invite their opinions, ask for their preferences, and treat their concerns as valid and essential. Phrases like, "What are your thoughts about this option?" or "How do you feel about exploring this together?" show that you respect their voice and value their input. Even small decisions, like which brochures to review first or which facility to visit, can help them feel empowered. Respecting autonomy also means listening deeply, even when their initial response is resistance. Don't rush to counter their objections or convince them to see things your way. Instead, acknowledge their feelings and reassure them that this is a collaborative journey. For example, "I understand why this feels hard for you. It's a big change, and I want to make sure we find something that feels right to you." Autonomy doesn't mean ignoring the realities of their situation, but it does mean framing the conversation in a way that prioritizes their agency. Instead of focusing on what they might need to give up, emphasize how aged care can support their independence in new ways. "I know how important it is to you to feel in control of your day. Let's find a place that allows you to keep your routines, but with extra support when you need it." This approach can transform the narrative from one of loss to one of partnership. Your parent begins to see aged care not as something being forced upon them, but as a step they are actively choosing for themselves. 8. Address emotional barriers. Behind the practical concerns about aged care often lie deeper emotional barriers, fears that can be harder to articulate but are no less real. For many seniors, the thought of moving into aged care triggers feelings of vulnerability, grief, and even guilt. To help them embrace the idea, it's essential to address these emotional undercurrents with empathy and patience. Your parent may fear losing the home they've lived in for decades, a space filled with memories and meaning. To them, leaving might feel like leaving behind a part of their identity. Acknowledge this sense of loss openly and without judgment. "I know how much this house means to you. It's been a big part of our family's story, and I can see why it's hard to think about leaving it." This validation helps your parent feel seen and understood rather than dismissed. You can also reassure them that moving to aged care doesn't erase the past, it simply creates space for new experiences. If it's important to them, discuss ways to keep meaningful items or rituals from their current home alive in their new space.
For some seniors, the idea of aged care can also spark feelings of guilt or burden. They may worry that the move is too expensive or that they're letting their family down by not being able to manage on their own. These thoughts can weigh heavily, even if they're not expressed aloud. To ease these concerns, remind your parent that their well-being is your priority, not their ability to maintain a facade of independence. You've done so much for us over the years. This isn't about what you can or can't do. It's about making sure you feel safe, happy, and cared for. Another common emotional barrier is fear of the unknown. If your parent has never visited an aged care facility or known someone who lived in one, their imagination may be filled with worst-case scenarios. Gently address these fears by offering accurate, reassuring information. A lot of communities today are so different from what you might expect. They focus on creating a warm, active, and supportive environment. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. Finally, recognize that moving to aged care often carries a deeper existential weight, the acknowledgement of aging itself. For many, it's not just about a physical move, but a symbolic shift, a step that feels like letting go of the life they've known. Be patient and compassionate during these moments of reflection. Sometimes, the best support you can offer isn't a solution, but simply your presence. I know this isn't easy to think about. I'm here for you, no matter what. By addressing these emotional barriers, you create a foundation of trust and understanding. This isn't just about logistics or practicality. It's about acknowledging the full complexity of what this transition represents. With your support, your parent can begin to see aged care not as an ending, but as a new chapter filled with opportunities for safety, connection, and growth.
9. Seek professional support. Sometimes, no matter how much love and patience you pour into the conversation, the topic of aged care can feel too overwhelming or emotionally charged to navigate alone. For many families, turning to professionals for guidance is not a sign of failure. It's a compassionate step toward finding clarity and resolution in a difficult situation. Professionals bring a sense of neutrality, expertise, and understanding that can help bridge the emotional gap between you and your parent. Your parent might be more receptive to hearing from a trusted authority figure, such as their doctor, social worker, or a geriatric care specialist. These individuals can frame the conversation in a way that feels less personal and more grounded in objective facts. For example, a doctor can emphasize the importance of a living environment that supports their health, making the idea of aged care feel like a proactive choice rather than a reaction to declining independence. A professional geriatric care manager can also be a valuable ally, offering tailored recommendations based on your parent's specific needs and preferences. These specialists often have deep knowledge of local aged care facilities and can provide practical advice on navigating the options, easing the burden on you and your parent. They can help assess your parent's situation from a neutral perspective, which might make it easier for them to consider the move objectively. Sometimes, the emotional weight of the decision may require the support of a counselor or therapist. This is especially true if your parent struggles with feelings of grief, loss, or anxiety about leaving their home. A therapist can create a safe space for your parent to express their fears and work through them without feeling judged or rushed. These conversations often uncover deeper concerns that might otherwise go unspoken: fears of abandonment, loss of identity, or the symbolic acknowledgement of aging. Addressing these emotions with a professional can provide a sense of relief and understanding, helping your parent process the transition more smoothly. If family dynamics are complicating the conversation, such as disagreements among siblings or conflicting perspectives, bringing in a mediator like a family counselor or social worker can help. They can guide discussions, ensure that everyone feels heard, and keep the focus on what's best for your parent. This neutral ground can transform tense discussions into productive ones, fostering unity and shared understanding. Finally, seeking professional support isn't just about helping your parent, it's also about helping yourself. Supporting an aging parent through this transition can be emotionally draining and overwhelming. Professionals can provide you with tools, resources, and emotional support to navigate this journey without feeling isolated or unsure. Remember, reaching out for help doesn't mean relinquishing control or diminishing the bond you share with your parent. Instead, it shows your commitment to their well-being and your willingness to explore every avenue to ensure they feel supported, understood, and cared for. By bringing professionals into the conversation, you create a network of support that strengthens your family's ability to face this transition with grace and compassion. It's a way to honor the complexity of this moment while ensuring your parents' journey into aged care is as smooth and respectful as possible. Final thoughts. Helping your elderly parent accept aged care is a journey that requires patience, empathy, and a lot of listening. By starting the conversation early, focusing on their preferences, and addressing emotional barriers, you can make the process less overwhelming and more collaborative. Remember, the goal is to ensure their happiness, safety, and well-being in this new stage of life. Approach each step with love and understanding, and your parent will be more likely to see aged care as an opportunity for a better quality of life rather than a loss of independence. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.